The beginning of what? She held out her long arm and motioned with her fingers. I was confident that what followed would be me getting devoured like that body she'd been chewing on earlier. That awful sound of teeth breaking through bone. All I could do was hope I was wrong. I stepped forward. She grinned. Yes, that's it. Closer. It was now apparent just how tall this abomination was. She towered over me. My head wasn't even to her waist. She leaned down and put her faces inches from mine. I could smell the metallic odor of blood from her previous meal. Her eyes were large white saucers. Witness us, she said, and all the candles went out simultaneously, plunging the cavern into complete darkness. Now what comes next might be hard to believe, or maybe it won't be considering all I'd gone through. I was not told a story by this thing, but instead given memories, knowledge of the past. This is what I learned. In Scandinavia, many centuries ago, there were people who practiced witchcraft, both men and women. At first, they were celebrated for their ability to heal others. It didn't take long, though, for these witches and warlocks to develop a taste for more sinister practices. Evil had permeated their souls, and at night they became entities known as the Mare. Their souls would take on a hideous physical form, and they'd wander from person to person, giving them nightmares, hence the name. Sometimes the nightmares were so awful, people died from them. Before long, the Scandinavian people started accusing the witches and warlocks, and rightfully so. But unbeknownst to them, the Mare had supporters. These were the people who embraced the darkness, and whose loyalty to the Mare was rewarded through special healing and such. One night, with the assistance of their supporters, the Mare snuck onto a boat and sailed away from Scandinavia, never to return. Meanwhile, the followers stayed behind, hoping to convert more followers and one day reunite with the Mare. Years went by, and the Mare loyalists remained small in number. They married amongst each other, and following the Norman conquest, settled in what eventually became known as Mondayville, Normandy. Several generations passed, and the belief in the Mare began to fade. But one family remained persistent in their faith. This family eventually moved to England and adopted the surname Mundy. In 1587, the Mundys sailed from England to North Carolina and joined the infamous Roanoke colony. Hundreds of years prior, the Mare had landed in Canada and traveled south along the eastern coastline before they too settled in the Carolinas. But Scandinavia was not the only place in the world in which folktale rang true. There was something more terrifying lurking in the wilds of North America. The Wendigo. This was a creature the natives feared immensely. It was a giant human-like monstrosity that feasted on people, but it also had an evil air about it, and that energy was a virus to those who were around it too long. It would drive people to commit horrible sins: greed, cannibalism, murder. The Wendigo had a lifespan far longer than that of the Mare, or at least the actual human part of the Mare. Evil attracts evil, I reckon, and as a result, the two found each other and merged. The Mare possessed the Wendigo, making the beast more nightmarish than it already was. The evil qualities of both remained alive in this one creature. The Mundys were still firm believers in the Mare, but practiced their worship in secrecy. There was no question in their minds that the mare existed. They'd always seen the extra shadows following their own, and in North Carolina they were reunited. The colonists were asleep when the mare arrived in their Wendigo skin, creeping through the night and bringing an extra chill to the air. The Mondays felt the presence of their masters and woke before everyone else. For the others, intense nightmares shook them out of bed. One fella had gotten so terrified he nearly wet himself. He quickly stumbled outside to relieve his bladder, and while doing so, saw the Mondays knelt by the woods, staring towards the trees. They looked as if they were praising the woods itself. Then all of a sudden, a tree moved. But it wasn't a tree. As the colonist's eyes adjusted, he could see coming out of the woods the 15-foot Wendigo, with her gangly limbs and saucer eyes. He tried to warn the others, but it was ultimately useless. The Roanoke colonists were taken to the mountain, leaving behind the mystery of the lost colony that still stumps historians even today. I imagine the folks studying it ain't ever considered that ungodly scenario. The past up to that point was now ingrained in my memory, but there was more. The plans for the future. To cast the world into the chaos of the Wendigo and create an eternal nightmare. They're in the mountains, not just here in Appalachia, but across the entire world. And it's in this mountain that it begins. This is where the mare creates more mare. They're out there already, living amongst y'all, convincing the morally corrupt to follow them. And when the time comes, they will go to the mountains where the Wendigo wait with an insatiable hunger. When I snapped back to reality, I could see that the Wendigo was hunched over again, eating another meal. I carefully crept out of the lair and back out the way I came in. Sarah was waiting for me. Her face showed that same emotionless expression.
Now you know.
Why am I still alive?
You're protected.
That ain't what my dad says.
He's not protected.
Then why the hell am I? Sarah's face changed, the first sign of emotion I'd seen on her yet. She was smirking.
You're a Monday.